Hi guys, welcome back to another video where I just sit and talk my brain with you guys. You can see from my hoodie today, Faith Over Fear, that I'm about to dig deeper into some topics. So before I go to that, your support is something that makes me so happy. It makes me happy to see you guys commenting, subscribing, and so on and so forth. Because 80% of you watch my videos and comment to it and subscribe to it, and I'm so grateful. So I just wanted to express that to you. What I wanted to talk about today is like the fear of change. The fear that, every time you want to do something, you be having that fear of like, oh my God, what if I failed? Well, you're already at that position. You already didn't start that. So it's like, what are you afraid of? But I know I've been there, done that. So this is why I wanted to share this topic, or at least talk about it even more. Simply because we get into like our brains. Let me just explain this to you guys. Inside our heads, we operate from a perspective of I've done this in the past, I know it works, or I've done this in the past, it doesn't work. So our brain is always going to operate based on past experience. So when you're planning to sort of like have a new experience, of course this will bring a lot of fear because your brain never had that before. So it's like if you never tasted chocolate, if someone asks you what is the taste of chocolate, you'd be like, well, I don't know. You've never tasted before. The same thing when it comes up to experiences, sorry. You feel like, okay, my brain did not taste this before, so it means like it's danger or it's bad. No, it's not true. It's just that you never experienced it and you don't have the right to judge it. So all the time when we're like going through changes, some of us tend to have like a lot of anxiety with it. And let me tell you, I had that on a certain period of time in my life where it was like I was anxious about it until I had to sit with myself and say like, what is it within this entire process that is making me so anxious? I know everything about the process. Why am I so anxious about it? Until the point that I realized it's just me sort of like afraid of it for no reason. And then I was like, you know what? I'm about to just, figure out what is the one thing that I'm scared of and just face it or accept it. It turns out that I'm not scared of it. It's just because it's new experience that I'm like, okay, it's a new experience and I'm like, experimenting it for the first time. So this is why my brain didn't knew about it before. And that was the first time to learn about it. So now I have a different way of like accepting experiences. Whenever I want to like just start a new experience or do something new, I just be humble to myself and kind to myself like, hey, we're about to start this. If you're allowed to feel overwhelmed, you're allowed to feel confused, you're allowed to go through all of these feelings. You're allowed to, because it's new. We're trying this for the first time. It's like trying something exciting. So whatever kind of like feelings we're gonna go through, I'm just gonna sit with it and go through it. But most people, they just don't want to deal with that feeling, and they just put that feeling as a failure, or I don't know what they call it. I don't know how they experience it. I'm just letting you know whether it's gonna be like you're afraid, you're like, I don't know, anxious, you're like, you think that it's not gonna work, blah blah blah, things like this. I'm just letting you know that this is because it's just new. You have to go through that phase in order for you to move to something else and learn from that experience. Life is not supposed to be easy and happy all the time. It's supposed to be a life where we experience things. Yes, we experience pain, we experience failure, we experience loss, we experience like a lot of things, but we're not supposed to just have this image that our brain is like just creating for us, that it's supposed to just be happy all the time. And if it didn't click from the first time, we're just, this is not gonna work forever. No, the fact that you have to sort of like accept that this is how it is. This is how it is, and you be happy about it. You be like, okay, I'm grateful. I'm human. I can feel pain and I can feel like those things, but this doesn't define me. Whatever I'm doing, like anything that I'm doing in life, if I failed in it or I succeed in it, this doesn't define me. Like if for example, I failed as a YouTuber, that doesn't make me a failure. It just means that I just tried something, I poured my energy to it, I showed up on a daily basis, I did the best that I can. I was me during the process. If it didn't work, it didn't work. I'm not gonna just associate the whole thing, the whole experience as me, oh my God, I'm a failure. Don't you ever say this about yourself. Like, this is like, I love the fear of change, because it gets to a point where you discover who you truly are. Like, it helps you a lot to realize who you are as a human being. And at the same time, it's just, how can I say this? It's just a process. So if you're a person that is gonna identify themselves as the experience, you're lost. Because if you're succeeding, then you will always think that you are that success. If someday this success is gone, you just feel like you lost who you are. But if you are a person that is not identifying themselves as, the experiences they go through, fear doesn't scare you. Change doesn't scare you, because at the same time, if you're someone, running after growth, success, earning more money, or whatever you want to do within your life, you're always having this mindset of like, change is a part of the process. And me being afraid of it, it's like covering myself. I'm afraid of change. So you're not going to, right? So the idea behind change, or, the fear that comes with it, it's like, how can I say this? It's like a price that you will have to pay through the way. It's like the fear, you have to accompany yourself through it. I went through an experience that I'm going to share with you guys. I had nothing. I was like going through a certain bad experience. I had nothing, literally nothing, except my faith and just trusting that no matter how hard it is getting, I still have me. And this entire experience doesn't make me a failure. It doesn't make me a negative person. And of course, I'm not gonna get out of this experience with a terrible mindset or with a negative energy. That's all I had. Like, yeah, I had days where I just wanted to cry, and I did cry because it helped me just release that out of my system. And I was like, even during that crying, or during having that entire session of crying, I was just telling myself, I got this, and this doesn't define me. This is not gonna define who I am or what I'm going to accomplish in life. This doesn't define. I just kept saying it, and I just kept that faith inside of me that things will be okay. Like, I don't know, I'm like delusional about it, like things will be okay, but I'm so positive in my life, where I'm so happy that I even surrounded myself with positive people. So when I was going through it, like, of course, people would want to, help and be there, and especially be respectful about, like, respecting my space, and if I want to, blah, blah, blah. But things like these type of, moments or experiences, they just define how you react to change. I was probably going through the major change in my life, but because I was so positive about it, I went through it positively, and I end up solving, my problems, and I end up in a better place. But I'm not just gonna define myself as a person who's always gonna find, like, the great solution or whatever. It's just that I have a detachment from everything. Like, of course, if I went through that experience and it was bad, it's still gonna be me. I went through it. It was like a terrible experience. Nothing worked out. but it's still gonna be me at the end. I'm not gonna lose myself over that. Now that I solved it, even with that, I'm saying that I'm not attached to it. Like, that doesn't mean anything. I'm not identifying myself as someone that succeeded it. I'm just letting you know that change and fear are like, how can I say this? To me, this is my definition. Change and fear are like two married couple, right? One of them is, both of them are looking into the same thing, but one of them is looking at, like those, eyeglasses that if you go to the cinema, they give you like the 3D, I think, or the 4D, I don't remember. Like, one is going to be red and one is going to be blue. So it's the same thing. Two of them are looking through the same, eyeglasses, but one is seeing red, the other is seeing blue. So both of them are seeing the same exact movie, and it's just different perspective. They are on the same exact situation, the same exact film, but they see different colors. So it's the same when it comes up to fear and change. Both of them are part of the experience. Both of them are like, part of how you're gonna see the movie. So you decide whether you're gonna just be on the side of this or be on the side of this. That doesn't mean like, gosh, I don't want to make it of like couples or like negative. No, it's like two perspectives. Like, it's always two perspectives, and you have to learn how to understand the other perspective, and that doesn't make them wrong. Fear sometimes is good, because if you have like that fear, oh my God, this is not the place for me, then you're gonna trust how you feel. You trust your gut. That gut is sometimes a fear that you have to trust, or you deny out of your life, right? So the same thing goes up for like the change. So the change is like, oh my God, I'm so excited, I'm gonna do it, right? And then the fear is like also part of it. So it's not that you're not gonna see it or you're neglecting it out of your life. No, it's just that it's part of the process. So if that fear was like, oh no, that doesn't feel right, you have to sit down and reconnect with who you are, reconnect to how you're feeling right now, and then just decide based on that. And I'm gonna tell you, like, yeah, during that bad experience that I just mentioned, I had to trust my fear first. I had to trust that, okay, my gut, or not my fear, my gut is telling me like, this is not the place for me. This is not what I want to do. This is not what I want to associate myself with. And then after that, I had to go through the change of rejecting that thing, right? So, and then I accepted the change, and I took it easily after that. But it's like, I'm telling you, like, they're both part of the process. So learn to accept both of them, and to not be afraid of doing experiences or taking new adventures in this life just because you're too afraid of, like, you've never done it before, you've never tried it before. Because our brains are like, if you never experiment something, then to your brain it's like a new folder getting in. They have to scan it, they have to make sure it doesn't bring any danger to the body. The brain is designed that way, right? So learn to get out of your head from time to time and just be present with the moment. Be who you are, who you truly are, and don't be attached to anything in this life. Like, if I can give you an advice from the bottom of my heart, is like to not be attached to anything in this life. Just be like a watcher that is doing the work, growing. If things clicked, they clicked. If they didn't click, learn to be extremely unbothered about it. So yeah, this is about today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to give it a like, subscribe, and see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.